Squid server. What is a Squid server? So Squid server is what? It's a web proxy application with a variety of configurations and uses. And this Squid has a large number of access controls and support different protocols such as HTTP, HTTPS, FTP and SSL. So basically it is what? It is the proxy, and we will see how to use this Squid as an HTTP proxy. So basically it is what? It is the proxy server. Proxy server means what? Proxy server means in place of me someone else in place of me. That means if somebody is doing your job for you, that means it is a proxy for you. So the proxy, the Squid server is what? It is basically a proxy. So proxy means what? It means in place of me someone else. So if someone else is doing your job for you, that means it is your proxy. Now HTTP proxy, that means it uses for the HTTP. I can use it for the HTTPS, HTTP, FTP. I can use it for even SSL also. So this will work as a proxy for our clients. Now what is the benefit of using this? First, we have a benefit, like for example, if we get the connection limited to some users, so we can expand that to our end users by using the proxy. Like suppose we have an access and it is allowing only one host to access the internet. We have some kind of internet, like suppose when we get I'm talking about the small network, like where we get the cable net, and those cable net it do what? It maps your MAC address into it, into their devices, so that only this machine works and other machines won't work. So we can use this proxy to use these other machines also. That is what it is. It is like home use. But in an offices, what we do here, we want control. We want control because this proxy can also work as a firewall. It is also called application layer firewall. So it will do what? It will do filter all the traffic which is going to the internet. And what it do next thing is to secure your internal network. So we can do this, we can use it in an organization to secure our internal network from outside internet. And the other thing which we do is to filter the traffic also, to manage the traffic. Now what happened in the proxy? Proxy means suppose these are the end users. So when these end users want to access something from the internet, so what they do? They will send the request to proxy server that I want to access Facebook. Now proxy server will do what? It will go to internet on behalf of this end user. On behalf of this end user, and try to get the pages. Now it will connect the Facebook server, and Facebook server feels, and Facebook server only see this proxy server. So it knows that this server is accessing, but this server is not accessing for itself. It is accessing on behalf of this end user. So proxy server accesses the page, get the page, and then what? It will forward the page to this end user. Now end user is using the site, but on behalf of the end user, this proxy server is going on the internet and getting those pages. Now whoever on the internet, if anyone on the internet try to see that who is using this site and who is accessing the site, then they will see that they will see only this proxy server. They will say that okay, only this server is accessing, but basically in behind this proxy server there are many other end users or end machines they are accessing through this proxy server. So this server working as proxy, HTTP proxy for these end users. They can be multiple machines here, and they can all send the request to the proxy server, and the proxy server will go to the internet and try to get the page for them. Now by doing this, what? On the internet, anyone on the internet could not see our internal network. They don't know what IPs and how many machines we have in our internal network. They cannot see our internal network. They can only see the proxy server, and that is how we can have a security. It can provide the security for our internal network, that nobody can see that what is and who is there in the internal network. So if someone don't see that, so they cannot do any attack also. So it will hide the internal network also. The next thing which we do is to use it as a application layer firewall. Application level firewall, that means it can do what? It can do filter the traffic, because all these end users are going through this server. Then on this server we can decide who and what can be accessed. That means who can access the site and access the internet, and who cannot access the internet, and what sites can be accessed and what site cannot be accessed. And because it is working on the HTTP, and HTTP it's a protocol works on the application layer, so it can also called application layer firewall. So we can use it as a application level firewall also. So this is the basic use for this proxy server. Now this proxy server as a squid we have available in our RHEL. In RHEL 7 or RHEL versions of machines, we have this squid by default available in our Linux RHEL 7. So it comes with the RHEL packages, default packages. So we can configure it in our server also. So how it works? So for configuring this, we need one server, and we need one server with two LAN cards. One LAN card will connect the internet, and from the other LAN card we will connect our end users and our end devices. So these end devices will connect the proxy server from this interface, this network interface, and from this other interface our proxy server will go to internet, and it will connect the internet. Now whatever the protocol we are using for the accessing internet is HTTP, HTTPS, whether it is FTP, SSL, they all have their own port numbers. That means whenever you access any website, so your client, your end user send the request on that port. Suppose I am accessing a website, so it will send the request on port number 80. If you are accessing secure site, it will send the port request on 443. If you are accessing any FTP, then it will send the request on port number 21. Now we will configure these end users to do not send the request on these ports. We will send them onto the proxy port. So our proxy server listens on a unique port. It is called 3128. This is the default port for our proxy server. So our Squid proxy server will listen on this port. So what we do here, on end users machines, we will configure them to send the request, any request of port number 80, 443 or FTP, they will send on this port. So their request will go to the proxy server, and the proxy server will accept their request because of this port. And when a proxy server accepts the request, then the proxy server will go to the internet and try to get the files from there, and then it will show them. Now proxy server can do one more thing. Squid proxy server can do one more thing. It can do caching. It can do caching also. Caching means what? Whatever the pages it browses from the internet, it will do cache them. Cache them to show the clients, show these end users when the internet is not available. Suppose this end user accesses the Facebook site. So proxy server goes there on the internet and get the proxy or the page, the Facebook site, and what it do, it will do send this to the end user, and also it will cache it into the memory. Now suppose next time when this user try to access the same site but the internet is not available, then what the proxy server will do? Proxy server will show the page from the cache. So it will show the page from its own cache. So it can do what? It can do cache all the pages which it browses. But this feature is disabled by default because we can enable it, because it can occupy lots of space in your hard disk, in your proxy servers, in your Squid servers hard disk. So if you want to enable it, then you have to make sure you have sufficient space under the directory which is caching the web pages, which is actually var directory. It caches the directory, it caches all the pages into the var directory. So you have to have a sufficient space to enable the feature, but you can enable it, and it can do what? It can cache all the pages. So this is the Squid server. It is a proxy, and this is how it works, and this is why we need. Now let's see how we can configure it. This is my server, and what I need here is 2 LAN cards. Right now I have only one. I have only one physical LAN card, but I need two. I need 2 LAN cards, so I can connect one to internet and one I will use to connect this server, these other machines. So what I will do, I will go to this my virtual machine setting here. So I have only one network adapter, so I will add one more adapter. Now this new adapter which I added, I will connect this to internet. So what I will do, I will use this as a bridge. So as a bridge it will connect my real interface, and from my real interface it will connect to internet. And from this other interface which is on LAN segment 1, I will connect the other clients. So other clients will connect from this interface. So I will press OK here. Now I will check, and I have new interface available. I have new interface available now. So this interface is having this IP, which is private IP, and from this private IP it is connecting to all the clients, and we have this client here. So this client is connected to the private IP, and this one is connected to the LAN segment. So on this client I have only one interface, and that interface is on LAN segment 1. So from this LAN segment 1 it will connect to the server, and it cannot go directly to internet. It cannot go directly to internet. We cannot access any internet on this client machine. So first I will do what? I will make sure the internet is working here. So I will do what? I will enable the interface. Basically it is on DHCP, so I will just make it up. Okay, we have only one connection and device. We have this new device connected, and this is not connected, this is disconnected. So I will enable this device, and I will do what? I will create new connection for this device. Connection name, I will make the same name as this. Interface name will be this, and the type is Ethernet. So the connection is added. Now I will not configure any IP address on this. I will just make it to auto. method to auto, and then I will just enable it. And it will try to get the IP from internet, our DSCP from the internet. And let's check now. NMCLI device show and this device. So what it gets the IP from the internet. And now let me check, is it internet is working or not. So I will go to the browser, and whether the internet is working or not. So let's check Google. So Google, it is connecting internet. This is server, and what it can connect the internet. So from the server we can connect the internet, but if we try to connect from the client, so if you see, this server has two interfaces. So from this interface local machines are connected, and from this interface internet is connected. We can verify by checking NMCLI device show. If you check this interface, it has this IP address, and this is local IP address to connect the local machines, and the other interface is having the IP address to internet. And from this interface we are connecting to internet with the gateway also. So this is what two configurations, and from server I can access the internet. Now when I go to the client, so client can connect the server from this IP, it can ping, but if it try to access internet, then it will not get internet. So it will try to get the internet and it says error. It cannot get internet because it is not connected to internet. It is only connected to server. So it can connect the server, but it cannot go to internet. Now we will configure the server as a proxy so that it can go, the client can access the internet through the server. So server can access the internet. Now what I will do, I will configure the server, this server as a proxy server. Now what we need to configure the proxy server is the package. The package is Squid. To configure the proxy, the Squid server, the package name is Squid. So we can check first, is it installed or not. It is not installed. We can also check by yum server. And it says it is available, but it is not installed. So this is the only package we need, and if we want to configure this machine as a Squid server, so we will configure, first we will install the package. So I will install with the yum. Install Squid and enter. Yes. Okay, so it is installed. Now the package is installed. We can check what are the important files for this Squid. So the important files are this. The output is very big. This output is very big. Now why the output is very big, I will tell you. So I gave a command here. So under etc we have the configuration files, where we have the main configuration file is this squid.conf. This is our main configuration file. Other configuration files are for other things, like for caching management, for caching error page management, for authentication management. Then we have a service, and the service is what? Squid. The service name is also Squid. Then we have these other library files here, and then under the document directory we have some document pages, we have some man pages, and then under USR share there is a directory Squid, and under that we have the errors. In this error directory we have different errors. Errors, that means it works also like a application layer firewall. So when application layer firewall works, it sometimes denied the access. So when you denied the access, it will show this page. It will show these other errors: DNS fail, this fail, that fail, connection fail, cannot forward, cache access denied, and whatever. So these error pages will show, and because of this output is very big. Why? Because the error pages are in different languages. You can see this is different language, then this is in different language, then it is in different language. Same errors but are in different languages. So based on our system language, like whatever our system is configured with the language, whatever language our system is configured, it will show these errors. Based on the language of your system, it will show you these errors on those languages. And you have lots of languages, you can see. This is English, Spanish, I don't know, French maybe, no, Finnish, this is French, Hungarian, I don't know, Italian language, Japanese language, Korean language, Latin. So these are the errors which is in different languages, and it shows in the system. Whatever the language your system is configured, it will show the error based on that language. UK. And then after that you have icon directories, and in that icon directories these are the different icons like PNG files, JPG files, and these files will show on those error pages. Then we have a separate log file directory, running EID directory, and ASPOL directory to cache. And this is the directory where it will cache all the caching pages. If we enable the caching, then it is going to cache into this directory, and if you want to enable the cache, then you have to have a sufficient space available on this directory or for this directory. So we know what are the main configuration files, what is the important files, what is the package we have, and we install the package. Now what? We can start the server with the default setting by starting the service. Now to start the server, first what we need is to resolve the server name. Remember, when we start the server, it must resolve the server name, local server name. Now there is a problem here, because I have connected to internet. This server I have connected to internet, and for connecting the internet we need the internet DNS server. So whenever you connect any site, so these sites names will be resolved by the DNS, and that DNS must be internet DNS, and that is why it is going to be resolved these IPs. It is resolving these IPs, these names, because of this internet domain, internet DNS server. And which DNS server is working right now is this DNS server, and this DNS server is working 192.168.1.1. So this is what it is, the internet DNS server, and it will not resolve my server name, which is what? My server name is server.example.com, and it is not registered on internet DNS, so it is not going to resolve by the internet DNS. And if it is not resolved, then what, our squid service will not start. So first I will do what, I will make sure that this name will be resolved, because see, if I try to ping server my name, it says unknown host, because it is using the DNS of internet, so it is not resolving my server name. So for resolving my server name, to start the squid server, we have to resolve the server name. What I will do, I cannot add it into my internet domain DNS server my name. So I will do what, I will use the host file. Remember, before checking into the DNS, it is going to check the host file. So I will add my server name into the host file. This you don't have to do it on any client, and clients will still use the normal network, normal DNS, whatever. So on this host file, I will do what, I will add my server IP with my server name. So for only local resolution for the server name, it is going to be resolved by the host file, and rest of the names will be resolved by the internet domain, internet DNS server. So whenever I give this name, first it will check in the host file, and it is there in the host file, so it will resolve from the host file. And if I give any other name, then it will be resolved from the DNS server, internet DNS server. So I put it the name here, and then I will do what, I will restart the network service so that it will be updated. Network manager. So now when I ping server, we can say that it is resolving with my IP, and when I ping internet server like google.com, it is going to be resolved by the internet DNS server, and it is resolved from the internet DNS server. So both will work. If I access my local site, it will still work, and if I go for the Google, it will still work. So after all this, now we are ready. Now we are ready to start the squid server. So what I will do, I will start the server. Remember, for starting the server, I am just doing what, I am starting the service squid. Right now it is not running and it is disabled, so I will start it. And you see it is started without any error, and I will make it enable. And we can check the status. So it is running without any error, because it can also resolve the name. If it is not able to resolve the name, then it will give error when you start the service. Now our squid server is running, and we can check by netstate command that which port is listening. I will give squid here. I will grab squid. So we can see that our squid server is running and it is listening on this port. This is the default port for our squid server, which is 3128. So whatever or whoever send the request on this port, it will accepted by the squid server. Now let's try from the server, try it from the client. Now we can still ping the server, but we cannot go to any web server. If you try to ping google.com from the client, it cannot access. Now from the browser, if I try, it is still not accessible, because it is not using proxy. Right now it is not using a proxy server. So for using the proxy server, we have to configure the browser. In every browser, whether you are using Firefox, you are using Chrome, Internet Explorer, Windows Internet Explorer, you are using Opera, whatever browser we are using, there is a setting to configure the proxy. So you have to go to the setting for the browser, setting of the browser, and I'm going here, and in the browser setting you will go to this and find the proxy. So I'll go to advanced. In Firefox you will find it on advanced networks, and here you will find the connection setting, and in the connection setting you have option to use the proxy. Right now it uses the system proxy, which is the default one, but I want to use the manual proxy, which is our own server. So I will click here manual proxy, and here I will mention the server IP, which is 172.16.1.1, and remember our server is listening on a specific port, and that port is 3128. So I gave 172.16.1.1 our server IP, our proxy server IP, and this is the port our server is listening on. And this is for HTTP. I will say use this proxy server for all protocols, SSL, FTP, HTTPS, whatever. So I click here to use it to all the protocols, and then I will press OK. Now this thing you have to configure whatever browser you are using, like Firefox, you are using Chrome, whatever browser you are using. Now I will try it again. Now what is it saying? The proxy server is refusing the connection. Now it is saying that proxy server is refusing the connection. That means now it is trying to connect the proxy server, and proxy server is now saying I cannot give you access. Why? It is because of firewall. This is because of firewall. So if the firewall is running, then you have to enable this port also in the firewall. And how? So you will go with the firewall CMD, permanent, add the port. The port number is 3128 of TCP. This is the port, and this is TCP port, and then update the firewall. And now the firewall is also now allowing. Now again I will go to client and I will try again. And now from client also we can access, and we can access the internet. So this client is accessing the internet from proxy server, from Squid server. It is not able to access directly, and it can only access from the browser, because this browser we have configured the proxy. We have configured the proxy for this browser. So if you access internet from this browser, it will go through the proxy server, and proxy server will accept the request and go to internet and give the access to, give the pages to this client. Now what is the default configuration? So basically what it do, it allow all the private network IPs to access the internet. So by default it allows all the private network IPs. Now private network IPs, that means from class A it is 10.0.0.0 the network, from class B 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255. So any of your machine, any of your network within this private network, they are default allowed. 192.168.1.0 to 168.255.255, it will be allowed also by the proxy Squid server. So it allows all the private networks to access the proxy Squid server. If your private network, if suppose your clients are in different network than private, If suppose it is using a different IP, like it is using 15.0.0.1 or 15 dot network 1520 or whatever public IP, then it will not allow to access the Squid server. This is the default setting. And if we want to see this, then we can check the configuration file for the Squid server. So when you check the configuration file for the Squid server, so you can see this. It is having a configuration like you configure your routers, Cisco routers, you configure ACL in your Cisco router, access control list. What we do in Cisco routers, we configure the ACL, we mention that which network on which protocol we want to configure, and then we apply those ACLs on the interface. So same as here in the Squid, we can also use the same thing. We can do create the ACLs and then we can do apply those ACLs according to our requirement, allow or deny. So first it is working as a Squid server, as a proxy server, and now we can access anything, we can access any site. It is right now working as a normal proxy server, but we can use this as a application layer firewall also. And for that, what we can do, we can make rules. We can make rules that who is allowed and who is not allowed, and that rules is like same as what we make in Cisco routers as a ACL, access control list. So you make ACL, you define the networks, define the host, define the sites, define ports, applications, and then you apply those lists, those ACLs. So here we have some default ACLs. As I said, it is allowing the private network. So these ACLs are defining here that these are the private networks. These are the private network. So simple syntax for the ACL is, this is the command to create the ACL. Then you will mention the name for the ACL, whatever name you want. Then you will mention the options. Options are too many. You have lots of options to mention, and whatever the option we mention, based on that option we mention the value. For example, it is saying here the source. That means we are talking about the source address. So source address, and here is the value for the source address. So what source address we are talking? So we are talking about this source address. And the name of the list is local net. Now you see all these names are local net. So it is actually same list. In the same list I am mentioning different source. Here this is the default, and what it is mentioning different source is the public private IP addresses. The private IP range from class A, the private IP range from class B, and the private IP range from class C, and also these are the private IP of IPv4. It is called local private network. It is defined as a private IP in IPv6, and this is what link local IP. It is also a private IP in IPv6. So all these IPs, all these networks are defined as a private IP. These are the private IPs, and all these networks are defined in this ACL. The name for the ACL is local net. Then there is more lists are there. Then it is created these lists. The name of the list is ACL SSL port, and here it is using the option port, and the port number is this. So based on the option, it is saying this is the port number. So it is mentioning these ports here, and the ports are these 80, 21, 443, 70, these, and here it is giving the mention comment what these ports are for. And there is one more thing. It is the one ACL says connect, and it using the method connect. Now here in the section it is defining the ACL. It is defining the ACL here. So this is what the ACL section where it is defining that ACLs. Now these ACLs are applied here in this section. And what is it? For applying the ACL, the command is http_access. Then you will mention deny or allow. And then very simple, you will mention the name of the list. So what is the default here? First it is saying that http access deny safe ports. safe ports, it is denying all these safe ports. It is denying all these safe ports. It is a safe port, so why it is denying these safe ports? So actually it is not denying the safe ports. What it is saying here, this sign means not. That means not safe ports, and that means it is going to deny all the ports which is not safe ports. And which are the safe ports? So these are the safe ports. So these are the ports which is considered as a safe. So it is not going to deny those ports, but it is going to deny all the other ports which is not safe. Then it is denying, in the next line it is denying the connect, and also it is denying not SSL port. So it is going to allow the SSL port, and it is going to deny all the rest of the ports. Now here the sequence is also important, just like in Cisco routers also the sequence is important. Here it is saying deny all the ports except the source safe ports. Now that means what? It is going to deny all the ports including this SSL also, which is not mentioned in this safe port. Then here it is saying deny not SSL port. Now in this case it is going to deny all the ports which is not mentioned in this SSL. So SSL it is mentioned only this port. So first line it is going to match here, all the rest of the ports will match here, and other ports will not match here. Remember, it is not match here. Not match, that means it is not going to apply this statement on those ports, including 443 also. So first statement, like suppose this 443 port comes, suppose the request for this port comes, so it is not going to match in this statement because it is not under this list. So it will not match, so it is not going to do what? Anything. Then it will go here in the second statement, and now here it will match. So it is also not going to deny that. Rest of the ports will be filtered here, and the SSL port will be filtered here. So now it will check the statement line by line, and if any statement does not match, then final statement is here, which says here that deny all. So it is going to deny everything which is not mentioned in any ACL. So what else it is happening here? So it is going to allow the local host. Local host is our 127.0.0.0. Then the manager is our caching manager, and then it is going to deny the caching manager. If it is not matching here, then it is going to match here and is going to deny. Then also it is saying here allow our local net. So by this it is going to allow our all private IPs, and then it is also going to allow the local host here, and finally when anything does not match, then it will say deny all rest of the things. And our IP in our local network, we are having the IP of 172.16.0.0. We are having this network, and this is also a private network. So by default it is allowing the private network, and that is why that client is able to access the site from the proxy server. And if we are having different IP, then it is not going to apply, it is not going to allow. It is going to match here. Then here it is defining the port number. This is the default port. We can change it from here if we like. And then here it is defining the core dump directory, which is under wirespool quit. Then this is finish. The configuration file is finished. Now I said you can do caching also, but caching is not enabled. So if you want to enable the caching, you can uncomment this line. This is to define the caching directory, and that is also under wirespool quit. So if you want to allow the caching, then you can enable this. But before allowing the caching, you should remember it is going to take the loss of space from the disk. So we have to make sure the disk is available with the sufficient space. and our network is this, and because of this it is allowing our client to access the ACL. Now what I will do, I will, for example, I will show you, I will comment this ACL. Now this comment is now not used, so it is going to use, it is going to allow network 10, it is going to allow network 192.168, but it is not going to allow this because it is not going to match in any list. So what it will match, it will match here and it will say deny all. Let's see what happens now. I have updated the changes. For make sure the changes will update, I will restart the Squid server service. Now when I go to client and try to access the site again, it was accessing. Now when I try to refresh it, I get the error from the proxy. Now the proxy server is refusing the connection. Why? Because now I disable that line, and because of that it is not allowing this. So I will uncomment the line again so that it will allow this network also. And restart the service. And now it is again allowing. So this is the default setting. This is the default setting, and it is allowing those things which is our which is in the private network. Now these are the default ACLs and default configurations. If we want to add something, if we want to change something, then we can do this. Like for example, I want to deny somebody, so I will do what? I will edit the configuration file, I will create the new ACL for me. And remember, you can create the ACL with any sequence, but for applying you have to manage the sequence. So this section I will say my ACLs, and I am going to create the ACL. So first ACL I am going to create, the command is ACL, and I will say my net, or I will say my IP. This is the name for the ACL, and I will say source IP, and I am going to mention the source IP here as 172.116.1.2, and that is that client IP. So this is what my one ACL. Now for applying the list, you have to apply it before any other thing, like whatever you are making. So you should you want that you should that list must apply first. So I will say here my list applied here. So I'm going to apply it before any other list. So these are the list default, so I'm going to apply it before these default. So I will say HTTP underscore access, this is the command, and I'm going to deny this. Which one? So I'm going to deny this new ACL which I create, my IP. So here I will mention that deny my IP. Now what it will do, it is going to deny this IP 192.168.172.16.1.2. Restart the service. Now this client having that IP, it was allowed. Now when I refresh, it is going to be deny. Now why is it going to deny? It is refreshing, it is okay. I will try to get new page. It is not going to be denied. Why? Because it is already allowed by this first statement. So I will deny from here. and now it is denied. So that default one I removed, so my IP is denied from there. Now I will not allow anyone, I want to allow only my IP, so I will allow it from here. So instead of denying the whole network, I have denied the whole network, but I want to allow only my IP. So this client is allowed. Now I can create lots of different type of list. There is lots of option there to create ACL. Like you can block the site, you can block the client, you can block the whole network, you can allow some client, you can allow or deny based on time. So there is lots of options we have, and we can use those options. And if we want to know all those options, I will show you the file where you can get these options. So there is USR share. Under this directory you have a sample file for the configuration, squid.conf documented. There is a sample file for it, and you can check this sample file for different ACL options. It is having the whole documentation about this, and it is a very big file. So you can go there, and there is all the options and parameters you have, and among them you have the option to choose the ACL. So there is an option, there is a section for ACL also, and this is the section for ACL, access control. And there is ACL section where you can create the ACL, then ACL name, then ACL type, and then whatever the argument you want. So it is mentioning all these things. You can create the ACL by source addresses with mask. Okay, I have not given the mask. Source addresses with mask. You can mention the destination address, local IP. Then you can use the ACL by ARP request. You can block. You can block by the. You can create the ACL by the domain. You can use the ACL by the URL. You can create the ACL for URL. You can create the ACL for time, like you want to allow somebody to access on this particular time or not on those time. You can create the ACL for specific URL also, like this URL is allowed or this URL is not allowed. You can create the ACL based on port. So there is lots of options here. I will show you this URL option. Like for example, this Facebook is running here. This Facebook site is working. So I don't want this Facebook to work. So I will go to configuration file. I will create new ACL here. I will say site 1, and then I will mention URL underscore regex, and then I will mention the site name dot facebook.com. So I am mentioning that this site. Now I am mentioning the site here only in this ACL, but whether it is going to be denied or allowed, that I will mention here. I will say http underscore access, and I will say deny this site 1, the name of the ACL. Then I will restart the service to update the changes, and when you go to the client, you can see the site was working. Now when I try to access, it is going to be denied because this browser is having the caching thing. Now it is denied. This Firefox do what? It caches lots of things. So it is getting it from the cache, but when I open it in the new tab, it shows that it is denied. So now it is refusing by the server. So server, you cannot access this site, but you can access any other site. You can go to Google, and you can even search the Facebook there. you can see the Facebook search here, but when you try to go to the Facebook site, it is denied because we denied that site. So based on like this, we have lots of different options to use, and we can deny with lots of options we can use, and there are lots of options which you can check from this documentation file. To use, you can create different lists, you can create the list based on lots of different things. For example, let's say you want to create the list based on time. So you can create the list by the time. The option is time, then you will mention the days. Days is like Sunday, Monday. For Sunday you will mention S, M, T, W, H, F, A, and for time you will mention hours, minutes, 2 hours, minutes. So you can create the list like this. ACL, time list. The command is type is time, then you will mention like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you will mention the time, like I will say from 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. This is the list I created. Then I can say here HTTP underscore access. I will say deny on this time. Right now it is 2, so within 12 to 6 this is the time, so it is going to be deny on this time. So time list, and then I will restart. Okay, there is an error for the option. It is the time, it is not like that. Time you have to mention it like this. So I have mentioned wrong, and the time in the list you have to mention it like this. Like this. Now it is okay. And now when I go to the machine, client machine, I will try it, and it is not accessing because I said only from time from 12 a.m. to evening 12 to evening 6. So when I try this on this time, it is not accessing. So it can access after the time, or we can say like I will say list. I will create the list. Say not on this time. That means deny if it is not on this time. So users can only access on this time, and after the time, before the time and after the time, they will not able to access, because I am saying deny not on this time. So now it is the time, so it can access now because this is the allowed time. So when I go to client, I say refresh, it can access because it is the time which is allowed. So these are the samples, and these are the configuration ACLs we can create, and this is how this Squid server works. So Squid server do what? It do proxy by default, and caching is disabled by default, and we can configure it as a proxy firewall, application layer firewall, where we can decide that which client can access, which network can access, and which site can work and which site cannot work.